It's been an age since I've come this far into the swamp. There are some twists and turns before we get to the ruins. There's probably more than lizardlings ahead. So, lead on, I guess.
There's more than lizardlings. There's a Let's Play of Neverwinter Nights 2. And we're just about to gain a level. So, hey, you know, we might actually pick up some new spells. And maybe we'll actually pick up some that are useful. I wouldn't gamble on it. Fortunately, we will find some scrolls around here that will provide us with some spells we might actually want to cast, as opposed to spells we're just casting for the know-it-all challenge. Which, honestly, I guess I could say I haven't really made a whole lot of progress with, but I have cast all the spells I know. It's just I don't know that many spells. This is really pathetic, guys. It's a beetle. Oh, hey, there's the level. Unfortunately, it looks like they have just enough hit points they don't quite get one-shotted with normal attacks. I mean, how dare they? Surviving 2 hits? I think this one's going to survive 3. Well, maybe not. Anyway, I'll gain that level off screen and be right back. Since Bevel's build isn't going to show, I'm just going to walk you quickly through what I've been doing with him. I've just been giving him, well, I'm not going to have him for long enough to care about anything about increasing his strength, and I'm not actually bothering with his skills. I do want to make sure to give him Great Cleave, though, just because fighting spammy enemies like you do right at the beginning here, it's actually a fairly useful ability. It's not great in the long term. You generally don't fight enough spam to make it worthwhile, but hey, you know. You'll notice that neither of my characters is using a shield, even though I have one in my inventory. The way this works with, I believe it's third and a half edition, if you use power attack mode with a two-handed weapon, you get essentially double the bonus. And you also get, in my particular case, plus 150% damage from strength, so I'm getting essentially plus 2 damage instead of the 1 AC from the shield. You know, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. As you can see, Bevel is there, great cleaving, and it's usually a question just of what's in range for him. I picked up a couple of level 2 spells, and honestly, I don't like either of them. Here, let's try and cast Touch of Idiocy on this swamp beetle. Not that it's actually going to do anything, but it's not like Touch of Idiocy actually does anything, period. It does some stat damage, which I suppose might be theoretically useful if it weren't a touch attack spell. You know, if you could cripple an enemy mage from a distance, yeah, I guess, but I'm going to have to go through that sort of, why did they bother again, when we get to Feeble Mind, but Feeble Mind's a level 5 spell, and by that point I'll have something else. The other spell I picked up, False Life, isn't really useful either, but it does give me some extra temporary hit points, which, I mean, it's worth casting, which is better than a lot of the spells I have, especially because I have such a high strength that, frankly, just walking up to things and hitting them is far more effective than casting attack spells. Now, if I could, you know, find a Scroll of Sleep spell, that might change, but for now, we're just beating on things. And I'm going to switch out, memorize 2 False Lives. False Lives? Falsest Life? Whatever. But since most of the level 2 spells are cross-listed spells, i.e. they appear on either a Druid or Cleric spell list, or actually in a lot of cases the Bard spell list, I'm not going to worry about them in the short term, because I will eventually have party members who can learn them, and then I can just pick it up from them instead of having to spend one of the level up spell choices, which are kind of, I wouldn't call them precious, but they're important. I love how those guys drop bows, but they don't drop arrows. That's not very useful. They do also drop greatswords, and admittedly this greatsword is not +1, but does a lot more damage, and as long as we're using two-handed weapons, we might as well, use two-handed weapons. I'm going to rest up, cast False Life on both my characters, and meet you inside, because this is the ruin we're looking for. See you inside. On our way in, though, we actually get a glimpse of... What's this freaky elf doing stalking me? Forgot about that. I was going to show that I almost missed that. I haven't played this campaign in quite a while, actually, so... Turns out False Life is even worse than I was hoping, than I thought. It can only be cast on the caster. It cannot be cast on your party members. It's okay. It's that one level of Barbarian that's doing all the work right now. And, there's some stuff lying around here, and if I remember right, there's a scroll that's going to be very useful, because it's going to actually be a spell I want to cast. Usually the way this is done, with, that's scale mail's better armor, at least, is you learn things like magic weapon and mage armor and protection from evil and all that sort of good stuff. You cast those spells, sort of after resting with your armor off, and then you just, have a magically boosted fighter, and it kind of tides you over until you have, at least like a set of armor that will not give you spell penalties. Oh, I guess I triggered that trap. Oh well. So this is, in some ways, sort of a non-standard Gish in that I'm not really casting the spells. False Life is pretty much all I've used so far that's really a buff. Might as well just be a fighter. And actually, compared to a fighter of similar level, I'm not really all that much weaker. I'm actually, in some ways, better than Bevel because I have a much better strength. Though, there's the whole thing about, I don't have the power attack or cleave feats. So, I guess instead of using light, I could just use my innate enhanced vision ability, but I don't know. I gotta make, some excuse as to why I'm a wizard, right? Oh, I'm dazed. Fortunately, Bevel can more than handle this on his own, so... Right? Or we can both miss. Alright. Enough of that whiffing festival. I think Bevel's actually stuck behind me here. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Here's a scroll of the magic weapon spell. It's another spell for me to learn, but fortunately it's an actual buffing spell. Well, technically you cast it on a weapon rather than a person, but I can use it to make my party both greatswords +1, at least temporarily, which is, handy. I'm not going to bother with it. I'm going to rest up before the last room of this area, but I'm not going to bother resting up for these guys, because, well, let's just say they're not real hard.
Give it up!
Let's see what you've got!
Those guards there are supposed to be more challenging enemies, I think. Not sure. Let's just say if they were intended to be more powerful, they're not. They still die in one hit. But then again, I do, an average of 13 damage or so a hit. So, for a level 1 enemy, they really don't have much opportunity to have more than 13 hit points.
What's up?
Why are you encumbered, Bevel?
Come on, follow me.
Anyway, I'm going to rest up, buff up, and be right back.
Oh, great spirits of the Stone Tomb, please hear our plea. The other lizardling tribes take our territory. They wage war. And before we fight them for our ancestral hatching grounds, we ask for your blessings.
There certainly are an awful lot of them. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
A warm blood. Here. Your very presence offends the Stone God.
Okay,
Kill them!
let's get on with it. Anyway, the shaman up here is not, I wouldn't say he's hard, but he is more dangerous than these other guys down here. So I'm going to make sure that my main character goes after that, and leave Bevel here to try and great cleave them all to death. Yep. Isn't Great Cleave wonderful? Oh, hey, stop wasting potions of Cure Light Wounds. Those are my potions of Cure Light Wounds. You don't get to use your potions. Now, I cast the temporary enhancement bonus +1 on these swords. That doesn't actually affect your selling price. You can't actually do that for free money. I remember in the original game, and at least in Hordes of the Underdark, I remember doing this, casting continual light on items to sell them to make money. And it was kind of a cheesy way to make money, and, well, you needed a lot of money at the end of the game, and it really wasn't a very efficient way to get there. But here's our chest, and I want to make sure that my main character picks this up, because I'm going to have to move it otherwise. And I'm sticking my sword through my arm. Yeah, that's real smart.
We were risking life and limb for that? None of this makes any sense. Dagon can do his own blasted quest from now on. When you're done searching around, let's get out of here.
Alright, well, I'm not going to leave just yet, because I want to
Yes, indeed.
pull an old trick, and I know that Bevel's about to leave my party, so I'm going to make sure he doesn't leave
This
with
is too
anything.
much. I can't carry all this garbage.
And I'll meet you back in town.
You have returned, and you have brought the shard.
That's all you can say? I almost died out there.
If I did not believe you could handle the task, I would have sent another.
Yeah, well, you weren't out there in the swamp getting attacked by lizard folk.
No, I was here attending the wounded, Bevel. Now find Marion and do the same.
I don't see how you put up with him.
Now, for the shard. Let me see it.
Okay. And you can step up to Bevel's defense, but it doesn't actually get you anything.
I need you to go to the city of Neverwinter, find my half-brother Duncan, retrieve the second shard, and take it to a mage you both can trust. Duncan owns an inn in the docks district of the city, the Sunken Flagon. Not the most reputable place, but safe enough.
Okay.
Head to the small port town of Highcliff when you are free of the swamp. There, seek passage on a ship to Neverwinter. The beast that attacked us will leave West Harbor alone once they realize their quarry has fled. If all goes well, you should be in Neverwinter before they find your trail. Say your farewells. Your boots may travel many roads before you return. I let some of the others know you are leaving, but not the why of it.
Okay.
Return when you are ready to leave, and we will speak of the path you must take.
Right. Anyway, we did his fetch quest, and now he's going to send us off to, into the wild, wild world. And he's going to have to do that next episode, because we're out of time. So, next time, we do some shopping, learn a whole bunch of new spells, and hopefully start being a useful mage for once. See you then!